conference, and then we have to do a mid-year conference. So before we can start our walkthroughs and everything, we have to do the mid-year conference. So this is the mid-year conference. And the mid-year conference talks about the teach components, remind you about student growth data, talk about continuing performance standards. After we finish this conference, please go into your TEACS platform and sign off the fact that we've had this conference, okay? To this point, you should have had your walkthroughs and your and one formative. In the second half, you'll continue walkthroughs, and then you'll do one other formative and then a summative. We're on the full implementation of the TEACS. There is a flex, but we're on the full implementation of the TEACS. So, again, I'll remind you of the TEACS schedule. All right, again, we're on the full process. So here's the schedule, kind of, sort of, walkthrough, formative, and then walkthrough, formative, then a summative. So that'll give you a total of 3 walkthroughs and a formative. We're right here on the mid-year conference. We try to turn, again, with this new platform, the old one used to send you an email. So when we walk through, the new one doesn't send you an email yet, but I think they're working towards that. So when we finish a walkthrough, if it's one that we're grading, we'll try to remember to send you an email. And then when I try to tell the administrator, let's just turn it around, I try to turn it around in the same day as far as getting it in the platform. And then that way everything is fresh and we can remember to send you the email. This is the professional growth rubric. I know by now all of us should have our professional growth. What we decided that would be our professional growth, and this is the rubric that we will follow as far as your professional growth is concerned. Any questions on professional growth? I know that's, I know by now we should all have them in the platform. We should all be working towards them and putting the artifacts in there. This is, they went to that just as a reminder. We used to do the 10 things for renewal. Now this is it, 10 PLUs. Now they've gone to the professional growth. So as you do your professional growth, when it's time to renew your certificate, that's what they'll use instead of the PLUs. This is the components. This is the components of the process. And the percentages, 50% are your assessment on the performance standards, 20% is your professional growth, and 30% is your student growth. So, as far as student growth, we voted to go away from SLOs, and we're just going to use the district's growth percentile as our student growth for SLOs, and then the math and the milestone courses, of course, it'll be on the milestone course. So just a refresher on that and how that works. Any questions so far about anything? Okay. And I think that's, make sure I cover it. Student growth, performance standards. Okay, the performance standards, as we know, You know, this is the domain. Like number 3, the domain is instructional strategies. And this is the standard. These are some of the indicators that when we're doing our walkthrough, some of the things we look for. And this is the rubric. And this is kind of the rubric that we use. Now, when I'm doing a walkthrough, I've got little buttons on the side that I can drop down that'll give me these. And of course, this is always in front of us. And so we try to look for these things as we're doing our walkthrough, as we're doing our assessments. Also, you get credit for Hawk Time Mondays. You get credit for collaborative planning. You get credit for data debriefing Thursdays. And you also get credit for, on Thursdays, when you're planning for your Hawk Time lessons, so you can have Hawk Time on Mondays. So we've kind of built those in to help us with, here's the different indicators. But on Mondays, if I'm saying, okay, I need to look at differentiated instruction. Well, on Mondays, I know it's Hawk Time going on. I can walk in your class. I should see some form of differentiated instruction. If I'm looking for assessment strategies, teachers systematically choose a variety of diagnostic, formative, or summative assessment strategies, you know, then I can look at, I go into Thursday. Thursday, as you all are talking about your formative assessments and what you've seen and how you're planning on that and what you need to do. You know, that's how we look at assessment strategies and assessment uses, where you analyze relevant data to measure student progress. So on Thursdays, if I'm looking for that, I'll just come in one of those meetings and listen to you look for that. Okay. Of course, instructional planning. You know, we'll come in on Fridays and look at your collaborative planning process. And of course, strategies, we'll see that in the classroom. And then your professional knowledge of your curriculum content areas. You know, if I look at a curriculum map, or I look at your framework, and then I can listen, as far as pedagogy, that's basically how you carry out in your classroom. That's what pedagogy is, all your processes, standing at the door, you're going through your framework, that's where pedagogy comes from. And is it providing relevant learning experiences? So these are the things, this is pretty much cut and dry, these are the things we're looking for. If it's happening, you get credit. If it's almost happening, you'll get credit. And if it's not happening, you'll get credit. And if you're sharing it with everybody, and everybody's using it, and you're sharing it, then you get the big 4 credit. Okay, that's where 4s come in. When you're sharing ideas and things with either everybody else or amongst your department. And of course, your positive learning environment, which you all do a great job of that. I can't think of any time here lately when you go in, there's not a positive learning environment. How do we assure that's happening with 1 hours? If somebody's disrupting the learning environment, you get them out of there. You know, you use your tolerance level. That's up to you, but to ensure a positive learning environment. Because while that one is disrupted, some of y'all got 30 waiting on instruction. You're trying to deal with 1. Is it academically challenging? You know, we're still looking for student-centered and high levels, and getting to the point now where students are self-directed learners. Still, that's a little bit of a paradigm shift because you know, we used to do it a certain way, but it has to be student-centered. And with the way you all are using technology, you all are doing a pretty good job of making the student centered. And then professionalism. How are we carrying out the mission of the school, ethics, you know, are we participating in growth opportunities? You know, are we being unprofessional, running around talking about people and keeping stuff stirred up? We talked about professionalism before. This is not the place for it. You got something going on, leave it outside, leave it in the car. I know sometimes it's human nature to vent. We all vent when something comes on and we're not happy about it. And it's okay to vent. But when you're trying to vent to the point where you're trying to influence people and cause a disturbance and mutinyism, trying to cause a mutiny or some type of something like that, that's unprofessional, and you can't do it. All right, that's unprofessional. And if I get wind of it, of course, I'll call you in and we'll talk about it. This is not a place to air out. If you got an issue, I've been saying this for 11 years, my office door is always open, always. And I'll answer any question that you have. If you got a why we do this, or I disagree with that, I think it's a better way to do this, I think it's a better way to do that, I do not get upset when you come here. I'd much rather y'all do that than go in the corner and talk about why we doing this and we ain't doing that and you don't have all the facts. Because everything we do is professional, and I'll give you the facts of it. It's not top secret, you know, I'll give you the facts of why. Now, those of us that just like drama and just like mess, then that's when you get dinged on professionalism. So let's always stay professional when we're dealing with our colleagues as well as when we're dealing with one another. And then communications, you know, we have built-in communications with teacher letters and things like that. And we also use the, everybody when we're communicating, make sure you put it into the campus. And that way, when I meet with a parent, y'all don't realize how much that helps. When I meet with a parent, I'll pull up that communication piece, and I can see when the communication was and when it was not. And we also can see if it happened or if it didn't happen, okay? So, so this is the mid-year conference. Any questions about the process or anything like that? Everybody's good? Okay, I don't see Ms. Hinton, but I think the report cards are in the mailboxes, I believe. So we know how we distribute report cards, and anything else?
Is the SLDL back up? Because yesterday, didn't we get a email saying that it was down?
Yeah, they were doing some kind of work on that thing or something. I don't know if it's back up or not. Anybody?
It was back
check?
up yesterday evening.
She said it was back up
Okay.
yesterday evening.
All right.
Yeah, I didn't check. Anything else?
We have the blood drive tomorrow. Thank you always for your cooperation and understanding. They'll be turning in forms again today. We've already got about 40 kids signed up. But they are just, for your information too, for those of you that donate, Shepherd is changing a few things about what they do. And instead of doing t-shirts for donors, they're starting like a store type thing almost, and you earn credits. And you can choose gift cards and other Shepherd items like Amazon cards, Starbucks, all kinds of stuff. So if you need information on that, it's on their website. But the kids are probably not going to be happy about the whole t-shirt thing to start with. And then when they realize they bank points and can earn other incentives, but just kind of be aware of that if you hear them talking. But it's Shepherd's policy, you know, that's just what they're doing, to do something different. So.
Really, bank points over. I guess if you're a one-time donor, you get so many points.
Yes, sir, but as you donate more, you
get more points.
So if you need
So
more
save those
information,
points.
yeah, save the points. And then we even have some kids who started qualifying for, they get paid for donations if they have a rare type.
What line is that?
Oh, I don't know. The kids,
Where's that line at?
they'll send me envelopes and they $20 Amazon cards in there for them and stuff. So
They got that red type.
they're excited about it, but it'll be in the multi-purpose room. That worked better for us last time, so if they're asking, will be in the multi-purpose room.
You have something?
I was just saying, generally it's O negative because that is the blood, it's called pure blood. It's what is the universal donor, and that's what they give to heart patients and to babies.
Yeah.
And my dad had a heart attack, so if you have O negative, please donate because
It's
I mean,
universal.
it's universal.
Okay. Computers, just to kind of update you, we had a couple situations where students got on the Chromebooks and they got an email, the students are, well, it actually sent it to me, students on Facebook Live. This is Friday. So if they're on computers, if you got computers, you need to be monitoring. Also, please don't give them computers and tell them that, you know, while you wasting time, y'all can just surf the internet. And I asked the little girl, I said, how did you get on Facebook Live? She said that if you just keep clicking it, there is a block, but she said if you keep clicking it, eventually it'll get on Facebook Live. They can figure this thing out. And we can't block everything. So when we pass out computers, the only thing to stop that is we gotta monitor it when they're on the computers or when they're on the Chromebooks. Because if we block everything, then we can't use it for what, you know, for what we're trying to use it for. So some things are necessary to, you know, we cannot block. So then it turns on us to monitor. So you can imagine, we got a student on Facebook Live and then people can comment to that Facebook Live. And some of the comments were, ain't you supposed to be learning? Why are you on Facebook Live? Ain't you supposed to be doing your schoolwork? And that came from a parent. And then the parent called the school and said, you got kids on Facebook Live, and sent the link. And so just monitor. That's all we can do is monitor. When they got computers, one of them's supposed to be doing some type of inventory. We got to walk around and monitor. The other one said they were giving the computers while they were waiting on the names to be called for good behavior day. So only academic stuff do we allow them to have those Chromebooks where we're monitoring it, and then we collect them up and put them up, make sure they plugged in. Make sure we have a collection process. We've heard this before. There's no way these students should be taking Chromebooks without us knowing it before the bell sounds. There's no way I should look in that cabinet of 36 and I got 35 and the class is dismissed. You can give, you got number 1, you got number 2, you got number 3. So if number 3 is not turned in, I know the student, when I'm looking at that card before they dismiss, and I got number 3 missing. When that bell sounds, it's virtually impossible for us to locate. So if you need to carve out some time while you're using Chromebooks, to carve out some time for them to be able to place them in there and plug them up, please do that. Because when you get in trouble, the bell sounds, everybody's rushing, they stack them on top of the cart and they gone. And then when you start replacing them back in the slots, you discover one is missing. And then it's, you know, so let's look at our collection process. Do anybody have a collection process that they like to share with everybody on how you do your Chromebooks? So you don't have any issues? Do anybody have a, go ahead, go.
Do it like that. I've also, the ID thing, put your ID in the slot. So they gotta go back to that slot and get the ID.
Okay, just some ideas. Just some ideas. Anybody else got an idea they like to share about the collection process? I think that's a great idea. IDs.
What I do, I just have one kid per class I'm assigned to pass out, pick up, connect. And they, you know, you gotta find somebody responsible enough. So, and that's what they do. I don't have 15, 20 of them going to the cart. I have one kid, pass them out, same kid, take them up,